Hi, everybody. Welcome back. This is Jennifer Phillips Russo, Viticulture Extension Specialist for the Lake Erie Regional Grape Program. I am on the Cornell side of it, and I'm joined by my co-host today, Megan Luke, who is on our Penn State side of our program. The Lake Erie Regional Grape Program is a collaboration between Cornell University and Penn State University to bring approximately 32,000 acres of our Grape Belt region information on research and educational programs that we have going on. So welcome. Thank you for joining us. It's been a minute since we've been together. Hi, Megan.
Good morning, Jen.
So today, Megan and I are just going to go back and forth and let you know of some of the winter programming that's coming up, some really important things and information available to you that you may want to register for. So, and Megan, you just made a comment about both of our backgrounds.
Yeah, I was looking at it and we were actually discussing the weather because we both have some conference and university travel coming up, and we could actually have taken pictures from the same week,
Yeah.
the way the weather's been changing.
One is full of snow and the other one is bare ground and brown canes. Well, I suppose we should start with what's coming up relatively soon, and that would be our Eastern Enology and Viticulture Forum. I'm going to get right to the web page so I can read it off for you. So basically what it is a collaboration, and it's a collaboration between many different Northeast American universities that have cool climate viticulture. I don't want to forget anybody, so I want to make sure that I pull that up. But we definitely have Cornell, Penn State University, Colorado State, Rutgers, University of Maryland, University of Georgia. Am I missing anybody?
Virginia and Virginia Tech, and I know Michigan are on some of them, but I haven't looked at the lineup for this one. I'm away at a small fruit conference and vegetables, Mid-Atlantic. So
The power of Zoom, isn't
behind.
that fantastic that we can still get together? Here, I found it. I'm going to pull it up so I can make sure that we do not miss anybody.
Yeah.
So if you go out on the Penn State University website, do you know that link by any chance? I do have it pulled up somewhere else, but if you know it off.
Yeah, so the easiest way to find the full list is look up the Eastern Society of Enology and Viticulture, um, and then Penn State Extension. And you'll
So,
get the whole list, not just the individual webinar that's coming up.
and we've already had one in regards to labor issues and mechanization, and then we had another one on spray issues and the frame program with Michelle Moyer and Tim Miles worked on that. Coming up, I know that, are you looking at the,
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now. I'm going to drop that link in the chat box, which we can open that up for the recording, can't we?
yeah, we can, you can at least see it. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to open up the chat. I'm not sure whose actual face shows up on the chat when we do this.
So
Okay.
there's the link, which has the keywords for the search, that has the registration. So registration for for the viticulture sessions is free. And then the next one is on Valentine's Day, February 14th. And it's spotted lanternfly research and updates is going to be the focus there. And actually of quite a bit of our upcoming programming as we come into this next growing season.
Thank you for reading that one out. It is disgusting the amount of tabs that I have open right now. So everybody just close your eyes if I were to share my screen. So we have that coming up. We also have what we call our Technology Tuesdays. It is part of our NIFA AFRI grant with Dr. Terry Bates, where we are trying to bring precision and digital agriculture to small and medium farms. We've been doing a lot of education on the MyEV tool that is out there, and this is a continuation of that. Basically, it's a workshop held right here at the Cornell Lake Erie Research and Extension Laboratory in Portland, New York. That is on Tuesday, February 13th from 9 until noon. It's an open session. We need you to bring your laptops in if you're interested to seeing how this can work in your farm operations. It does not have to be viticulture. It can, any type of agriculture can use this, but this was developed with a viticulture background. So that's why we are, and our program is all about viticulture and enology. So that's why it has that particular focus, but more people are welcome to join. We'll walk you through how to set up an account, how to build blocks on your farm, and how to begin collecting data and visualizing that spatially. So again, that is February 13th. It's a Tuesday. We call them Technology Tuesdays, and it is from 9 until noon here at Clairol.
Mhm.
We've had a couple of these and they're received really well. And then the growers continue to come back and ask questions. So we're not finished with you, or you're not 100% ready to go on your way, but you'll definitely have a really good background on how to get started.
Yep. And they works even if you have some experience, but you want to refine your skills or you have a specific task you want to tackle within the software. You're welcome to come back and work on it. That's correct, right, Jennifer?
Yes, absolutely. So the next thing that's coming up. So that's February. Then you have the EVEF, or the Viticulture and Enology, Eastern Viticulture and Enology Forum that we spoke about.
Yep.
And the
That's a
next,
webinar that's specifically online. And I will give, and this isn't one I think that you're terribly familiar with, Jen, but there is the Pennsylvania Wine and Grape Industry Conference in State College. And I will drop the link for that in the chat as well. And Jen and I will be participating in a different conference those 2 days. So we will not be able to make it. But if any growers are interested, I'm going to provide that information here in the chat. That's kind of the Penn State version of the Bev conference, which is more focused on winery association, enology and viticulture sessions and things like that. But just figured I'd provide that information and a plug to
absolutely.
my Penn State team.
Absolutely. So there's a registration link for that, and you posted that right there in the
There is.
chat.
I just posted that in the chat as well. And
So
I'm
if you were,
looking.
I'm sorry, if you were listening to this as a podcast, you just to reassure everybody that you can find this video on YouTube just by searching LERGP podcast or Between the Vine podcast, and you'll be able to see those chat links.
Yep. So yeah, and it's the Pennsylvania Wine and Grape Industry Conference in State College, February 28th and 29th. It's a 2-day event at University Park. So
Well, then that should bring us to the Cornell side of things. Great segue. On the same time that we're hoping the entire Lake Erie Regional Grape Program team specialists will be able to attend, and that is Bev New York. So if you are local in our area, that is put on by the New York Wine and Grape Foundation and Cornell Cooperative Extension of the Finger Lakes programs. And in Geneva, excuse me, BEV stands for Business, Enology, and Viticulture. It is a 2-day conference this year. And I'm just looking at the schedule. The business keynote speaker will be Dr. Kathy Kelly. So each year comes a new set of alcohol beverage consumption statistics, trends, and predictions. And as consumers' taste, interests, and expectations evolve from alcoholic beverage products, what should the industry members be aware of, and what should they focus to meet their customer needs? So that's going to be a great session with that keynote speaker. You can find the entire agenda at bevny.org. So that's bevnewyork.org. And the registration link is now open. It's going to be in Canandaigua this year for the first time, and I'm really excited to see the new conference space. But we will be there. So if you want to meet FaceTime with Megan and I, local LERGP celebrities, you can see us rolling our eyes. If you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see that. We will be there and attending that conference.
Yep. And then
go
go ahead, Jen.
The one after that, that's really important to our region, not that these aren't, is that we actually put on by our team, is our Winter Grower Conference. That is going to be held on March 14th at the same places we always do. So that's SUNY Fredonia, and it is in the Williams Center. That is an all-day event. We are currently applying for credits. The registration is available. The link, you can find that on our website. So you can go to lergp.cce.cornell.edu to register for our conference. I'm really excited about the conference this year because we have, starting off, we have an introduction, hopefully, God willing, that the weather will all happen and everything, all the stars will line up. But we have our new business management specialist, Andrew Holden, will be joining our team in the beginning of March, and we hope to have our introductions there at the conference. For any of our growers out there, this is a perfect time to meet with Andrew and help formulate his outreach program by giving your feedback on what's important to you and what your needs are. So, a great opportunity for that FaceTime with Andrew. I don't know if you have anything to add to that. I just keep.
Oh no, just just for for our PA folks, there of course will be core and category credits. I know it's getting close to the end of March, so I've been fielding some calls with folks that want to get in a few credits before the end of the season. So that'll be of course available at the time. And I look forward to hearing any feedback and questions, concerns, things like that around my role as well. I'm still technically new. According to some of my folks on the Penn State side, I can actually keep saying that for like 4 or 5 years. Um, with extension being, we stick around for a while in our roles. And as we build community, hearing back, I made it through my first year. I've been starting to develop some of my own programming. You've all heard me hear updates around EPA guidelines, calibration. That's what I'll be presenting on at that particular conference as well. But if you have any, questions, concerns, thoughts on my first year, I'd be happy to hear them as well. And that'd be great.
Just to speak to what you just said, Megan, I think that's wonderful that they said you're new. You are technically new, but the longevity of both of our predecessors in this program were over 30 years. So
Mhm.
yeah, 6 years in the program, definitely new compared to 30. And what
Yeah.
that just speaks to the power, the staying power, and the work with our growers that people want to be here in this region working for an entire career. So thank you to our growers for that. We really love working with you. But to give you a little more information on what's happening at our conference, I'll be giving an overview of the work that we've done in the last year, and then Andrew will give a brief introduction of himself, followed by the director of the New York Wine and Grape Foundation, Sam Filler. He will be there, and he's going to be talking about the inaccurate and out-of-date vineyard survey data that threatens New York State grape industry. So excited to have them be a part of our program this year. I was asked when we select our speakers and the content that we're going to present at these conferences, it's all industry and grower impact. Like we have met with our advisory group and they have said, these are things that we want to hear about. So that's how we choose what this conference is. If you would like to have a voice in that, please consider being part of our advisory group, and you can reach out to Megan or myself or Kate Robinson in the office, and we can make sure that you're on that board with us. So moving forward in the schedule for remember, this is the Lake Erie Regional Grape Programs Winter Conference on March 14th.
14th, yeah.
It was the 16th last year. I was like, oh. So now I just confused all of you out there who are listening. March 14th. March 14th. I will be giving a talk on potassium and magnesium in vineyards and when to apply, how they interact with each other, how pH affects the dynamics, and determining how much is actually necessary. So we're going to go over soil and tissue testing as well, and how to read those and use those in your applications in your farming operations. We're going to have a great vendor show, so I will make sure that you go around and visit everybody there. Then Dr. Terry Bates is going to talk about precision and digital research, agricultural research that he has done over the past more than 15 years, and what he has found, how he has utilized that, and what research has correlated with that we can now take into our operations. So there's a lot of, I don't even think that we have publications on it, and I'm going to let him speak to it, but how certain scans correlate to crop load and other scans correlate to pruning weights. So effectively how we can become more productive by using digital and precision viticulture. To follow that, we're going to have a grower panel. I think this is so important, and this came from our advisory group as well. Some of our growers in our industry are far ahead of others because they have gone through the trials and tribulations and the levers and the barriers to adoption to precision and digital viticulture, and they're willing to share. They're willing to share with you what they tried, what didn't work, what really works, and how they use it in their operations. So don't miss that if you've ever thought about, maybe I should look into it. That's going to be a session that I'm really looking forward to. Is there anything you wanted to add before I keep talking, Megan?
Oh no, that's fine. I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a shout out to our growers in Western New York and Northwestern Pennsylvania. I think, we're a little insular over here in our corner of the world, and we don't realize how much a lot of the international growing community and national look to us for some updates and information on mechanization and what works and what doesn't. We were the first counties in the world to fully mechanize grape harvest, and we do things a little differently here. And I think it's really great to be able to I don't know, showcase that now and then. And with the precision piece, obviously California is doing a lot with it now, but we're in a really unique position because we're already so heavily mechanized, to start integrating those technologies in ways that are lower barriers. There's ways to use the technology without having to buy, a $650,000 new piece of equipment. We have much lower barrier methods, using sensor technology and imaging and things like that. And I think it's just something worth I don't know, I guess reveling in a little bit here and there.
Very well said. And also, just like we could gush over you guys forever, but our industry is amazing and resilient and innovative. And not many people realize just what we have here in Western New York, even the surrounding communities. So we like to shout it from the mountaintops when we can. Thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Mhm.
So for the credit portion of our programming, we will have Dr. Lynn Sinoski, who is Cornell's assistant professor in weed ecology and management and specialty crops. She also was with us last year talking about her electric weeder and the work that she's doing on that. She will be here this year because of the important Environmental Protection Agency's recent Endangered Species Act regulations and how that they will affect our operations now and in the future, focusing on herbicides, but not limited to what we can expect moving forward. That will be followed up by Megan Luke, and you can talk about what you're going to talk about.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it really, really briefly there when we brought up the conference in general. So if you've been with me recently, Lynn Sosnowski and we've been kind of the the folks really following a lot of the EPA stuff that's coming down the pipeline. So a lot of that hinges around a website that they're using for the most current changes and regulations to pesticide labeling requirements. So I'll be providing an overview for that, as well as just some quick and easy tasks that you can start getting comfortable with, in order to meet those requirements as they become relevant to our region. So I'll be talking about the calibration program, which I've been speaking about since last year, but by the conference we'll be just a couple of weeks from getting it off the ground, for our first round of in-person and demonstrative calibrations. So just be talking about that, and being able to share some resources that I've been working on, with folks that are involved in those programs on a national and an international scale, to bring best coverage practices and methods for, again, low cost changes you can make within your program to improve your sprayer efficacy on the ground. So yeah.
Yeah, really thankful for Megan's addition to this program and to our area. So thank you, Megan.
Thanks, Jen.
That goes right into what Brian Head is going to talk about. So Brian Head's going to say, what does the future of disease control look like in grapes? And this is coming off of the Xyram decision that we will be losing that chemical within the next year. So he's going to talk about, hopefully, he's putting some things together, and I'm really excited to see this because I know this has been on people's minds and we've actually received calls on it. So the potential for future grape disease management with the loss of these chemicals and with resistance, he's going to present options and invoke inquiry about how new and old chemical classes and their potential to fill maybe these gaps that come from that could be in our current program. So another session you don't want to miss when building your program for your operations moving forward. We're going to follow that up with Juliet Carroll. Some of you may know Juliet Carroll. She is a Cornell University senior extension associate who is retired, and she used to be our Tim Weigel's supervisor. She has been working in her retirement on Track Grape software. Excuse me. I know many of you may have heard of that in the past. It was around for a while, but it was rather clunky. So she has been working on it with Dr. Yu Zhang and Cornell University, and they are here to talk about the update. So she's going to present on that software and they've been working for over a year. And the reason why she has to present on this, or is wanting to present to everybody on this, is that these practices are for fruit growers to protect their crops with the goal of minimizing economic, health, and environmental risks. This particular program is actually going to be implemented where you're going to have to put your spray records into this program, and there are processors who are requiring this moving forward. So we don't just pick and choose fun things that we think are important to you. They're actually going to be necessary in some of your operations. So to follow Juliet talking about the updates on that is a processor who is actually going to be implementing track grape. So talking about what that means in their company and to the growers who work with them in contracts. And that's it. That's for our grower conference for 2024. Remember, it is March 14th at SUNY Fredonia.
Covering a lot of ground in one day.
A
It's
lot of
kind of what
ground
we
in
do
one
here.
day. And just
Um,
for our growers out there, it happens to be that February and March. Obviously, we have a lot of programming going on bringing to you, but there are also a lot of programming going on in other universities that Megan and I are required to give presentations at. So it is thankfully you are out there pruning and getting things ready and not needing us as much. But just so you know, the best way to probably research or reach Megan and I over the next 6 weeks is by email. So we have a lot of travel coming up, and apologize if we're not physically in the office for you, but we're sharing all this good information that's coming from our region to other regions. So. Well, that's all I have, Megan. I know it was a lot. Do you have anything you wanted to add? Oh, we
I
do.
we do actually. I think we have two things.
Yeah.
So the link that I dropped about the Eastern Viticulture and Enology Forum, just when you open that link, it's the list of all of those upcoming webinars. So February 14th is updates on research and spotted lanternfly. I know as we're gearing up for this season, there's going to be a lot of questions regarding that invasive pest. And then March 20th, there's going to be the next webinar in that series. I got to get my words out.
Right.
Is going to be regarding climate change and challenges of some of these more drastic weather patterns that we're seeing. So that'll be a good one if you've experienced some of that. We had that big freeze last year that was really detrimental to a lot of our growers from here to the Finger Lakes. We've seen a lot of severe weather in different contexts, as well as dry periods that are rather unprecedented for our area, which has 200 and some odd cloudy days a year with precipitation. So
The sun
that'll
showed
be an
yesterday,
interesting one.
so that was great.
I, I was sitting at my computer at my home office like a week or two ago, and all of a sudden I couldn't see anything on my screen, and I was like, "What's happening?" And I looked, and I'm like, "Oh, the sun came out," and I don't know if it's ever done that while I was on a Zoom meeting.
Singing that song in my head already about the sun.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of spotted lanternfly, so this is one of those collaborations that comes from having Penn State and Cornell working together, and just the quality of some of these programs we're able to bring, I'm just very proud of. So Megan has been spearheading one that's going to kick off our Coffee Pot Conference series. And we've not only been working with researchers, and I'll let Megan speak to that a little bit more, but we're also working with Southeast PA growers. So go ahead, Megan.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not excited to offer this programming because we're unhappy about why it has to exist. But we are happy that we have, like Jen said, that we have the connections to bring this programming to our region. So May 1st, this is a save the date. We haven't finalized the registration links yet, but they will be coming through our crop updates and on the Penn State Extension website in the following weeks. We're having a spotted lanternfly in-person workshop. This is going to be tentatively from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Birch Farms Country Market. And we're bringing several researchers from Penn State that have direct experience working with this pest and its management in vineyards and in tree fruit. So Kane Hickey, who most of our growers up here are familiar with, is
Northeast
one of the
native.
leads. Yeah. He's one of the leads in organizing this event. Unfortunately, Michaela Chettinari will be in Italy at the time, so she will be missing a trip to the Erie region. But we also have Dr. Julie Urban, who's been one of the lead researchers in lanternfly on the Penn State side, and she's also working on a few national teams to manage the pest, along with Brian Walsh, who's one of our other extension researchers. And I had the opportunity at the Mid-Atlantic conference that I've been at all week to meet with David Bittinger, who did some of the original spray trials for management of spotted lanternfly. He helped with some of those special local need some of that paperwork. He works directly with the USDA, and he's willing to zoom in. It's a little bit of a drive from where he's located down in the Gettysburg area, but he's willing to zoom in to talk about what it looks like to develop a spray program for lanternfly, what's worked and what hasn't. He even has some information on what works to manage the egg masses and things like that. So he's done a lot of trials with the USDA. We'll also have Flora Acevedo, who's been one of the primary entomologists working with this pest. So it really will be a great opportunity for our growers to speak with the research team. And the other thing that Jen and I have been working on is speaking directly with a group of Southeast Pennsylvania growers that have been through lanternfly from the beginning. So they experienced it coming in, reaching that climax point where it was becoming detrimental, and now it's become something that they manage on a yearly basis. And they're willing to share those experiences with our team so that we can help better prepare ourselves for what's coming, and to give you and you, our growers, an opportunity to speak with your peers about what their experiences were, what the practicalities are, and what they wish they would have known when this first became a concern in their region. So we're getting the details all dialed in as far as that goes, and we will have the registration link as soon as possible. But we're very happy on the Penn State side to be able to bring this to the growers that really need the information most.
I love that we're doing our coffee pots just a little bit different this year and trying to bring a couple more in-depth days. So another one that we are working on for one of our coffee pots, either late May to early June, we are ironing out everybody's schedule that we're trying to bring in together, and that is going to be a soil health day. It will be located at the Betts Farm, and that's in Westfield. And that's because my New York Farm Viability Institute cover crop trial is located there, as is the long-standing over 12-year cover crop trial that if you've come to our winter grower conference in the past, you've seen me present on. We'll be able to take a look at those trials. We're going to demo roll crimping and termination types for you while we're there. We're working with the NRCS to also be there to do some soil pits to see the difference between the non-cover crop versus cover crop areas. And I'm really interested to see what happens below ground and all of that as well. And then we're also having the New York Soil Health Alliance soil health truck there. So there's the simulator that can simulate cover cropping and bare ground and then rain events, and you get to see actually what happens with different sods. So we're really excited about having that come to our area. It's going to be bigger than a coffee pot, and it will be at the Betts Farms. More information to come on that soon.
Yeah, and then I think we have a field day at each of the research centers as well, in the list of meetings
Coffee
for
pot,
this year.
yes.
So yeah, there'll be a field day at the Lake Erie Regional Grape Research and Extension Center. That's the Penn State side in Northeast Pennsylvania, as well as the Clairol facility, the Cornell Lake Erie Regional Extension Laboratory. Did I
Very
get it?
close. Lake
Oh,
Erie
very close.
Research and Extension Laboratory.
Oh,
There are
thank
so
you.
many acronyms, so I don't even try the LERGP one anymore.
The LERGP.
Yeah, see? But we are also trying to establish a field day here at Clairol, which will have, we're hoping to have like upcoming mechanization, some automation things to show, and working very closely with some producers, sorry, to make that happen. Again, it's trying to get everybody's schedule to line up. That's proving a bit difficult.
So
So
we'll have the
thank you.
announcements for the full coffee pot meeting series soon.
Yes, yes.
Soon.
And there will be one in Niagara County at one of our wineries where Dr. Katie Gold is going to be joining us as well, because we do have for her work in pathology and plant disease. So you'll have the one-on-one right there at a coffee pot meeting to talk to her about that and what programs she has researched and how that can work in yours. So, wow, we have a lot to talk about today where I thought it was only going to be about a 20-minute podcast. Look at us.
We keep adding things to our schedule.
Right. As always, if you have any questions or comments and you have suggestions for what you would like to hear about, please leave them on YouTube in the comment section below or reach out to us via email. You can find all of our contact information on our website at lergp.com or lergp.cce.cornell.edu. Thank you for joining us. We hope you all stay well, and we hope to see you at the upcoming events. Be well.